Hello and welcome to Unboxing. My name is Rafael Subito. Sorry I keep on wearing the same gear, but the Rockets still in playoffs, so I'm gonna just keep on wearing it until then. But let's go ahead and get at it. Didn't do didn't do a video on Wednesday for any kind of preview or predictions for the fight. The fight's coming up. Didn't know the fighters. Andre Dirrell, he's a fighter I haven't seen in the past couple of fights that he had, but I know he had knockouts. But he's the kind of fighter I kind of really don't care watching that much. But we'll go ahead and talk about that. That kind of changed a little bit. And ESPN2 Friday Night Fights, the last show, the finale. If you ever watched ESPN2 Friday Night Fights, the past fighters, a lot of fighters, probably in the beginning, I would say in the past couple of years, there haven't been that many good fighters coming through there, or haven't been it hasn't been like the fight show it used to be. And when it started off, it just basically started off with Tuesday night fights. If you remember back even before Friday night fights, the Tuesday night fights, they used to have good fights there too. Like every future champion will be on Tuesday night fights. And then they put that tradition back on Friday night fights. And you also had Max Kellerman, Brian Kinney, Papa. They had a lot of people come through there that's pretty good. Max Kellerman kind of set the tone. When he interviewed people, he was one of kind of the first ones to be bashing on people. And when he went to HBO, he kind of lost his edge. I don't know why. He went out part of corporate or something like that. But Brian Kinney stepped it up and he did his own and he left. So right now the only people that have there is Teddy Atlas. And Teddy Atlas, he's real smart. He knows, he's kind of old school kind of training. He talks a lot, but when you're watching the show, it's just like old school boxing show. You know, there ain't nothing to keep people entertained. Say for people that don't know about boxing. People that like boxing will watch the show just to see the upcoming fighters and stuff like that. But one of the reasons I didn't watch it as much the past couple of years wasn't that many. It wasn't the Brian Kenny, Max Kellerman, and also it's Friday night, man. And when that show, they had a couple of fights, 6-rounders, 10-rounders, and that's what they do. They do all these fights, and it helps out the people coming up. And it's just kind of hard to see where those fighters are going to be in the future. So they're putting a lot of time on these guys, and you don't know where they're going to be in the future. But I just go ahead and just got these down here just to remind myself. One of the ones they had actually like a tournament for middleweights, and they had Brandon Adams versus John Thompson. And Brandon Adams was the one who was supposed to win that fight. And you saw if you watched the show, you saw the outcome ended up being that John Thompson ended up winning that fight. And Brandon Adams came a little bit heavy. He wasn't in condition, so that's what happens when you get in condition. But the main event was the heavyweight tournament they had, which Donovan Dennis against Andre Fedosov. I can't even pronounce his name, but he's a Russian, and he ended up being the favorite too. And it was a pretty good heavyweight fight. If you watch previous heavyweight fights, they're not that great. The Russian kept on going at Dennis. He's a southpaw. He was using his reach a lot. He's a pretty tall guy. Dennis Donovan was a little bit taller than the Russian, and he was able to keep him at distance. But once that Russian got close, he was able to hurt him and end up knocking him out and win the fight. And that's pretty much of that. I don't want to go into detail of it because we got so much information coming in right now. And there's the main event they have for Fox Sports. Well, the two fighters are trying to push in Fox Sports. One with Oscar De La Hoya's promotion, Golden Boy. Eric Hunter and Abraham Lopez. The two fighters trying to push. And let's go ahead and just talk about what they had in the beginning. The Tae Dong, the Asian guy, the 7-footer, against Lance Gouch. I think this is fourth or fifth fight Taishan has done. And this 7-foot Asian guy, and basically they try and push him. It's like almost like a publicity stunt. I don't know if you remember back then, they had that Russian 7-footer back in heavyweight. And he was actually pretty decent. He was actually like 47-0, 48-0. Then he started fighting real competitors, and he started getting his ass whipped. So that's what happens, you know. This European fighter. Yeah, I think he actually had the belt, and I think he was trying to beat Rocky Marciano record, but lucky that happened because he was nowhere in that level. That's what happened when you babysit the fighters and you just use them just to look good and build a record. But this guy, he looked, for 7 foot, Taishan, he looked pretty decent. He was just still kind of awkward. They'd say he did like MMA, fighting, kung fu, I'm not sure, taekwondo, some kind of martial arts. I'm not really sure what it was. I wasn't paying attention that good. And he was fighting him. He ended up knocking that guy down. That dude was a 6-foot butterball guy. And I guess his leverage, 7 foot, just knocked him down. And really can't tell nothing from it. But it was kind of, you see 7-foot guy pretty coordinated and getting a knockout win. I guess that's what they use it for. And then you had Gutierrez and Venezuela that I think they had fought before, and Gutierrez had won. And then I think this time Venezuela was a pretty good fight. Venezuela went at it off from the get-go, and even though he was tired, he was still going at us. One of the things you want to see about these fighters, they're up and coming. They just got a lot of heart. They're trying to win, and that's one of the things you want to see. I think it was a 6-round fight. And then you have Abraham Lopez, which is the co-main event against Alfred Tite from I think he was from Africa. And Abraham Lopez hasn't fought in 3 years, and so I wasn't able to see when they showed the fight in the beginning rounds. He was going up and down, body head to the opponent, Alfred Tite, and he wasn't swinging back. So I was like, the second, third round, next thing you know, Tite ended up hitting Lopez and kind of hurt him, and that's what you know, this guy has been fight. He hasn't been fighting in three years, because some guy just came out and just punched him out of nowhere. He was throwing the punches. And it ended up being a good kind of fight for a round or two. And next thing you know, Lopez ended up knocking him down with a body blow. And you could see that in the beginning of the rounds. But it's nothing spectacular, nothing to ooh-ah and stuff like that about. But, I mean, he looked pretty good offensive. Anybody look good at like that, fighting somebody not swinging back. But then again, just, these are Friday nights fights. ESPN, Fox Sports 1, True TV. You're going to see that. But True TV has been pretty good and showing pretty good fights. And the main event was actually Eric Hunter versus Escalante. And the reason I like this was it was actually pretty good, because I just want to see Eric Hunter, and he looked real quick, real powerful, and he ended up getting knocked down. He ended up knocking out Escalante like nothing. And one of the things, he has a record of 3 losses, and I was trying to see why does he have a loss of 3. The only thing I seen wrong with Hunter is that he picks up his right, he makes it wide punches. Easier somebody to stop him with a jab or something, get to him before the punch lands. I didn't really see nothing wrong with them, but the last 2 fights that he lost were actually from DQs, so low blows and hit on a break. So that's why he got 3 losses. And his first loss, I'm not sure it was early in his career. I wouldn't pay attention to that. But he looked pretty sharp. He looked pretty fast. Even though he probably fought somebody that wasn't that great or whatever, he looked pretty good. Just something that you want to watch in the future. Eric Hunter, pretty good from Philadelphia. And that's pretty much it. True TV didn't have a show this weekend, probably because of the Memorial Weekend. They didn't want to waste time and money on that. So let's go ahead and go to the fight that we had Saturday today. Andre Dirrell against James Degale. Andre Dirrell, his fighter, came from the Olympics. I don't know if you remember back then, Andre Ward was supposed to fight at 160 middleweight, and they didn't have a super middleweight guy, so they bumped him up, and that's when Andre Dirrell came in to be at 160. And you saw Andre Dirrell, he just go, all right, I win a gold on middleweight or super middleweight, don't matter. And he bronzed on the middleweight. And one of the things I saw him for most of his career coming up. The last year, he'd been active, fighting like 3 fights. I didn't see those because of the previous, what he did before he lost against Froch and Abraham. And he's always been a guy, he's real slick, real fast. He gets hit a lot for somebody being southpaw. Yeah. He sometimes he was kind of not. It's just a fight that I really kind of fight style that I really care for. And what ended up happening this fight, James Degale he's a gold medalist, and they came in fight for the title and for champion, to be the super middleweight champion. In the first round, it ended up being a real pretty good fight. Dirrell looked pretty. I ain't gonna lie, he looked pretty cut up and everything like that. The last time I haven't seen him for a while. And James Degale, pretty basic southpaw. They're both southpaw fighters, so they're gonna hit and land each other. There's gonna be some boxing there. We haven't been in the second round. You notice with Andre Dirrell, he was kind of loading up his lefts, which gave a lot of time for James Degale to respond and throw those big lefts on himself, which knocked him down. And let's go ahead and just show that knockdown real quick. Basically, it's James Degale right there knocking down Andre Dirrell. And it was a big left he threw. And just because of this happened, he ended up knocking him down again in that second round. And yeah, you see the way he was fighting. Dirrell was kind of real tall, and he put his hands down and go back. It gave a chance for James Degale to go ahead and just unload it on him. And then through the middle rounds, you could tell Degale was just keeping his points ahead. He was keeping the fight ahead. And next thing you seen Andre Dirrell kind of warming up. He started throwing some speed. He started making his punches, his left going a little bit more straight. He stopped doing the overhand left that he always get a counter on those. And ended up being an interesting more fight. He threw a lot of punches, little fast punches. He was throwing a lot of combinations, but it was hitting Degale's hands, and that's not going to count. You got to land some blows. So at least he has some momentum. You can break him down, put the defense, make him, make sure that Degale's defense goes down or something. He could just do something to trick him out by throwing those punches. Better to throw than not to throw. And he was doing pretty good. He was catching up, but I think because all those punches he threw at Degale were mostly in the arms, ended up being a decision for James Degale. Even though I think Dirrell, he did pretty good. He was talking trash to him. He started doing real good into the later rounds. I thought Dirrell had a chance to knock him out, man, but he just didn't keep it up. He needs to be real consistent on a guy like that. And Degale was kind of tired too, so you should take advantage. So Degale wasn't throwing no punches. They're both southpaw, so you shouldn't have no problem getting in there. They both could switch to orthodox, so it's pretty good skills they have right there. But yeah, just in the beginning rounds, ended up being Dirrell wasn't keeping his left straight. His defense, he wasn't just fighting too tall, fighting straight back. Something that anybody be able to, any opponent would be able to hit him. Yeah, so I was kind of surprised, but pretty good fight for a Saturday during the day. Watching it, I liked it. It was pretty good. And as you know, we talked about Friday nights, ESPN Friday nights closing out last show. We're doing that to take over for Premier Boxing. This is Premier Boxing promotion with Al Heyman, who also promotes Mayweather. Everybody think Mayweather's promotions. Mayweather's the brain. It's Al Heyman. Al Heyman is the one helping him out, which I think Mayweather gave thanks Al Heyman. But Al Heyman is the brains behind it. And what he's been doing, all these fighters he got right now, he's been building them a good record. And giving him a good record, fighting easy opponents. But now that he's putting his money in, he's getting these guys to fight. Hey, you need to fight. You need to go at it. And he's doing this right now, and it's looking pretty good right now. I like the way he's doing, especially what's coming up next week, which I'll go ahead and talk about that. And also, and then after this, I also show another fight, Edwin Rodriguez versus Baker. El Gallo Negro. He's actually from here, but just down the freeway here from Baytown. He's trained by Mr. Lopez. He's a pretty good trainer around here in Houston area. And I really didn't see the fight because they switched it off and they cut it off. Next thing you know, they stopped the fight. Edwin Rodriguez won the fight because they stopped it. And one of the things I saw Baker do, he wasn't throwing enough punches. He had a defense that Edwin wasn't really hurting him, but he wasn't throwing back punches. And that's one of the things you need to do for the referees. Always got to mind the safety of the safety of the fighter in mind, and that's one of the things that Baker wasn't doing. He was just throwing punches, so I can understand why he stopped it. But at the same time, Baker wasn't hurt. Rodriguez got the win, get another W on his record. Oh well, that's boxing. Always got to throw punches, man. You want to get those judges or referees to be on your side. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's go talk about what it's gonna be a real good fight next week. Next Friday, I have Amir Khan against Chris Algieri. Because Amir Khan he always been wanting to fight Mayweather almost a year and a half, 2 years. Back then, I didn't care for Amir Khan to fight him. Didn't think he was all that. But compared to other fighters that Mayweather has been fighting, and also what Mayweather has right now to fight, I think he's probably the only person right now that you should fight him right now. Especially, I don't think he has the skills to beat Mayweather, but him being tall, having the long reach, I think he should be able to give Mayweather a fight. Even though Mayweather does all this stuff, Amir Khan's tall enough to reach him and stuff like that. And he's pretty quick hands. He got a good straight right. If he keeps Mayweather in the distance, which Mayweather likes to be in the distance, so that should be a good fight right there. And I'm not really sure about him cutting off the ring against Mayweather. He fought Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia just just tagged him everywhere. Amir Khan was moving around, and Danny Garcia was on point, was hitting him everywhere, and ended up winning. I'm not sure what happened there with Amir Khan, but after that, he's been doing a little bit better. And I get a lot of props for Danny Garcia for beating Amir Khan, who's actually real good. Has a real good amateur record over there in the UK. I don't know if you remember when he was younger, he was like the next Prince Hamid. Back then, they pushed him a lot. He did a lot of, he was a real skilled amateur fighter. That's why he got a lot of speed. But now you're coming with the big leagues, you gotta worry about power, endurance, age. So hopefully, he's fighting against Chris Algieri. If you already know about him, he fought Manny Pacquiao. He lost. But before that, he fought Protnikov, and he beat him. And you saw him when he fought Protnikov, fought Lucas Matisse, what kind of fighter he is. And then he beat him. It's going to show what kind of endurance and skills he gets. But, damn. We'll talk about that more Wednesday when I do another video of the previews and predictions. But it's going to be a real pretty good fight. And but Premier Boxing is going to end up taking over Friday Night Fights and having those. I don't know what day, but they're going to be on ESPN. Instead of being on ESPN2 now, they're going to be on ESPN. More telecast, more viewership, more recognition. And if you've watched Premier Boxing, they do a pretty good show. They do what they had today. They got Sugar Ray. They got commentating. Who else did they get? They got BJ Flores. I think he's pretty good. Who's also a fighter. They had Daniel Jacobs today, but he's a real good fighter. But but it's whatever, man. But it's a pretty good show. I like the way they do for the fighters, the entrances. They put them up in lights, the pictures and stuff like that. It's pretty cool to see something nice for the fighters. Something for the fans, the people who don't know about boxing that much. They want to see what boxing's about. They do a pretty good, display. And one of the reasons why is because Al Heyman's behind it. And he, like I said before, if you saw the first video, I explained a little bit more about him and that he's represents a lot of entertainers in the hip hop, pop, and R&B, and he knows about presentation. And we'll go ahead and just leave it off that. Go ahead and do a more in detail video. Probably give out too much right now, but I'll probably do another video with them for Friday night. And if anything else comes on about boxing, but this is a good fight to watch because Amir Khan is gonna probably be the next opponent for Mayweather. Most likely, if Mayweather still wants to fill out, I'm pretty sure he already got the $300 million contract that he wanted from Showtime. He only has one more fight, and he probably don't want to fight a big fighter like Triple G or Cotto, which I don't even know if that's even going to happen. Because of I think he still wants to fight after his contract is over with Showtime, and he can make more money now with Al Heyman doing what he's doing right now and get a little bit more of a big cut of the pay and see what happens there, man. But I said before, please subscribe. Please leave in the comments if you have any questions. Let me know in the comments below. Share with your friends. Share with your enemies. And if you have any questions, just put any comments on this video, any videos you want. Message me. I have my information on there. But thank you for watching Unboxing.